pink.
Yes.
Yeah, remember
Confidently.
that book about real men eat quiche. Real strong men wear pink.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of it.
Not at all. Well, hi, Barry.
Hi,
Let's talk
Christine.
about dating.
Let's talk
Yes, we were
indeed.
just saying that I have on red and he has on pink. How Valentine are we, right? Because we're talking about Valentine's Day today,
And all the gifts and the baggage that goes with it.
literally and figuratively. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So the topic today is, Valentine's Day with roses and chocolate and lingerie, and we'll talk all about the pros and cons.
Yes. And the love-hate relationship that I think a lot of men and certainly women too have about Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, the pressure and everything.
So, so much, whether you've got a relationship or not, it
Yeah.
all is so affects us. There's no medium feelings about Valentine's Day. I think everybody has very strong feelings about it. We're like super happy and excited and sexy, or I'm so depressed and I can't even get up today.
Well, there are those that feign being neutral by simply ignoring it, but that's really suppression of their upset. I would venture to say, well, I'm not going to say everybody, because there are certain people who don't like Valentine's Day. What's Valentine's Day?
Yeah,
But for most people, there is a certain energetic response or
yeah,
thing about Valentine's Day. So yes, we will cover most of that if we can in the time we
yeah.
have.
I certainly think it's the majority of people have feelings of some sort,
Yeah,
and often kind of extreme about Valentine's Day.
yeah,
Yeah.
and of course we can blame, if you want to call that. I try to remember. I read an article about the origins of Valentine's Day, and I think it was Cadbury. I think that first started it back in the 1800s, where he basically was the first chocolatier, if you call him chocolatier, to create a heart-shaped box of chocolates, and that's what started the whole the modern Valentine's thing with Hallmark and everybody else. It was his fault.
So Valentine's, I think too, part of the reason that it's become so important is if you're not feeling as appreciated in your relationship, or you haven't really known what to do to show appreciation in your relationship, you're like, oh, thank God, there's a day.
Right? Yeah.
There's a day. Even though I have to pay 5 times more for flowers and all the cards are picked over, both men and women, and the chocolates are, the leftovers, if you finally think of it on the day, you at least have an assignment that you think you might actually be successful to
Yeah.
please the other person in your life.
And to put
Yeah.
all your energy into that one day, when there's 364 or 65 days sitting out there that you didn't do it on, I'm not sure the balance is quite right. But you're going to say I've resolved everything with that one day's actions.
Yes. And so there you are with this pressure that it's supposed to fix everything and make everything better, and that you don't need to do anything else if you've
Right.
done that, which are all fallacies.
Oh,
And there's,
yeah. Okay. I'll hold back for a minute. You can keep your thought going. So I'm like, no, I shouldn't jump on that yet.
but you will. I can always count on you. I love it. That if you aren't feeling it the other times, or because this is a problem too, you don't know what in the hell to do. You've tried things and it didn't work. They weren't appreciated for whatever reason. We can certainly go into all the reasons
Oh yeah.
that often don't even have anything to do with you. That you're like, what the hell? Maybe I just do have one shot. I only have one day that I can try to fix this because whatever else I'm doing isn't working.
Hmm.
And we're going to so dig into that too, about how every day niceties, every day something, every day a little something, even if you're not feeling it,
Oh yeah.
every day goes so far for both sexes, both sexes. And I don't think men and women appreciate the power they have over what they could do just every day.
Oh, we could spend days talking about this one. So yes, we can definitely cover that this time. But the thing for me about Valentine's Day, as I said, it does have a historical reference. I mean, if it goes way back into, I think it was Greek or Roman times, where Saint Valentine basically was executed because it was Roman. Where basically he sent love letters to the daughter of the general of the military and got
Yeah.
hanged for it. But the thing was, is that back then the belief was that military soldiers are less effective if they're married. So the idea of having his soldiers married off was depleting his military might. So he was like totally against it. So Valentine was a bad guy in their realm, but he got named. They named Valentine's Day after him because he basically got crucified that day. Well, not crucified, killed. He was murdered, or excuse me, executed is the term, because he basically was working against the society's strength.
Yep.
So Valentine's Day has grown into something totally different with Hallmark and, again, Cadbury, as I mentioned. So recognizing this one day as a holiday or a marker of romance, in some ways, part of me goes, really? Because what it ties back to, and as you said, how much we can do every single day of the year.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll do a little sidebar. By the way, we both have our bios we can talk about. But one thing I didn't mention in other things, when I was writing my book, I had this thought in one of the chapters about exploring ideas of romance. And so I did a little web search and collected together, like it was over 150 different things you could do romantically. And I created a little ebook, which I gave away to my clients. And if people want it, they can reach me afterwards, called Adventures in Romance. I made it like pretty little ebook. I can't sell it because it's not my content. But I give it away to people like, if you want some ideas, here's some. So basically, if you just had that workbook, that guide, you could have something to do every single day for the whole year, just from that alone. So to just limit yourself to one day of the year, it's for one thing, if you enjoy the idea of being romantic, why do it only one day a year?
I know. And the rewards for both people when you do something romantic, why would you only want to do that once a year?
Exactly.
Right. So if we could talk, we're going to talk about if you're in a relationship and if you're not in a relationship.
Yes.
Since Valentine's Day is upon us in a couple of days, what could you do? Because at least you'd have something to start with. Let's build a foundation of, you hope that if you liked it, you'd want to repeat it more often than once a year. So let's get you to feeling positive about this day that maybe you're not feeling so positive about, that, and then encourage you to start doing more things, either for each other or for yourself, if you're not in a relationship. So if you're in a relationship, what sorts of things could you do? The first thing you do is you say, what would you like for Valentine's Day? What would make you happy? Would you like food? Would you like flowers? Would you like candy? Would you like a day just spent together? Would you like a massage? Because some of the massage places have opened now.
They are? Okay. I know the whole thing with the lockdown.
Outdoors. Yeah, they're doing them. Some of them, I've seen some advertisements like for the massage envy places that they've now moved some of them outdoors.
Okay.
Because I thought, could I suggest that? But yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Getting a massage and a mask, I'm not sure how that.
I'm just trying to visualize that. It seemed very weird. Yes.
Yeah. Take all your clothes off, but leave on a mask. So I like asking. Now, I'm a woman, and I know the thing that about, well, you should know, or I shouldn't have to tell you. Yes. I'm addressing that because I call it a lot. Yeah, you can. Well, they don't. Men have lots of really wonderful powers, and one of them isn't reading our minds. Right. As much as we're convinced.
Thank you. Can we put this in a billboard, please?
I've done so many blogs and canvas things where Canva things where you put them up in great big bold. Yep. You have lots of wonderful superpowers. This is not one of them. You cannot read our mind. And so I sound like Dr. Phil. If you don't tell him, then how's that working for you?
Right.
So what I suggest to women is make a list of 10 things that you could now use for Valentine's Day, birthday, Christmas, Groundhog's Day, that you would really like. Something he could do, something he could buy, something he could, an activity together.
Right.
And give him the list. And you'd be happy with any of them. And there are different levels of activity. There are different levels of effort. There are different levels of money. Mm-hmm. And then he gets to pick, because he knows whatever he picks, you're going to like. But he'll still surprise you by which one he picks.
Absolutely.
And the women I have talked into doing that, begrudgingly, when the next time we talk, they go, oh, he did 3 of them. I go, yeah. And the other thing I suggest to men to get from women is a consultant. So some of them have daughters. Go ask the daughter.
Oh, right.
Go
Yes.
ask my best
I love it.
friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very long-time good friend that when her husband wanted to ask her to marry him, he used the consultant of her sister because her sister said she will want a ruby engagement ring. He's like, really? He goes, oh, yeah. I mean, she always wore red nail polish. She likes wearing red clothes. So he went, okay. The consultant says, my friend loves her ruby engagement ring, loves it. It is the perfect one for her. So get a consultant.
Genius. I love it.
So that's the other thing. If they really are insisting that you know what it is, then ask a known trusted source.
Simple but effective.
Because
up to you.
Even though we're not going to tell you, we're going to tell our best friend. That's just the caveat I wanted to say.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you confide in somebody who's not going to do it for you, but then the person who's going to do it for you, if they can check with them, it's almost like, let me tell the secret to my partner by doing it via my sister or whatever that is.
Exactly what happens. It's exactly what happens. And I suggest women ask men because you're going to tell us.
Yeah, if we even know.
Much more forthcoming.
But the other thing also is with us is that oftentimes we don't even know what we really want in that context because we don't focus on that context. We're focused on something else.
Yes.
You know, for us, it might be like, I need a new toolbox. It's like, that's not very sexy. So thinking sexy and romantic is, for most men, is not a natural like state to go straight into. For women, it's much easier, I believe, to think in that romantic energy, which is why there's always that difference between us. But the thing I was going to say earlier, to shift the energy slightly, is about how, in one way, talking about how, Valentine's Day is only one day of the year. So it shouldn't be all the day for romance. However, what you can treat it as is the one day to celebrate romance, perhaps above all else. Like you have your wedding anniversary or your relationship anniversary one day a year when you go, let's celebrate each other, but you're still in love the rest of the year. So why not make Valentine's Day the heightened celebration of what you're already doing? So that way you're actually practicing, as we said, loving things every single day of the year, loving actions all year. But on Valentine's Day, let's up the ante, making it more celebratory. Not necessarily more an investment, money-wise, but invest your energy to celebrate each other that day.
Yes. Good idea. And so it's so funny I love how you say, well, a toolbox isn't very sexy. If it's what you want, it's what I want to give you. And then the problem that we women, so I'm going to call us out again, that's not sexy, but it's what he wants, right? It's what he wants. He'll think you're darn sexy that you got him a toolbox. Stick a garter belt in it. Or
right. I'm just thinking that.
Or give it to him naked. I mean, if you want to make it sexy, well, let's put you in charge of the sexy is important to you. Trust me. Look at Barry's face when I say all that. He's going to sure.
Right.
He may not be thinking Valentine sexy for him personally, but you could certainly add that element.
Absolutely. Well, if you look at all the car shows when they used to have car shows, and all the like TV shows where they have prizes, it's always the beautiful girl modeling and showing off the piece. So for the fun of it, not to make it a duty, but for the fun of it, why not be the model showing off the tool? I mean, I keep using toolbox, but it could be something else too. And yes, in some ways, you want to save the big gifts like mechanical things for birthdays and Christmas. But if it's something on Valentine's Day that isn't like lingerie or roses or chocolate or something else, you can still make the energy a bit sexy, which you said. And so I love the idea of being the presenter, so to speak, of it, and make the presenter sexier than the actual gift.
Yeah. I love that. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Indeed.
Yeah. My husband was a very happy husband.
I don't doubt it.
So we brought up lingerie.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it from a woman's point of view. And I like lingerie. I like wearing it. I like wearing it for me. I like wearing it for the man in my life. It's been my whole life of sex and talking about it and experiencing it is just a natural, normal thing. It's how I was raised. Mm-hmm. And it isn't for every woman. It isn't. And so what I explain to women is find something, I don't care what it is, that makes you feel beautiful, that makes you feel feminine. It doesn't have to be this horrible contortion filling thing or this thing that goes up your butt like dental floss. You don't want something that doesn't feel comfortable. Right. You want something that makes you feel womanly and lovely. And it could be something that covers you up, it's a sexy color. Or it could be something that covers you up and it's really shiny. Or it could be something that covers you up and it's really short.
Right.
Or it could be something that covers you up and it's more than one piece. So there's like a peak in between. So it doesn't have to be skimpy. And I think that's what is off-putting to a lot of women. And so from a man's point of view, from the women that you've had in your life that you cared about and that you saw in different ways of being undressed, I would love to hear from your point of view about what you think about lingerie.
For me, the thing with lingerie is it can be very sexy, or it can also not be very sexy depending how it's worn, used, what you use as well. I remember hearing about this once in a conversation about how we talked about this, about how it's the mystery of what's not seen that's sexier than what is seen.
Yeah.
So lingerie as a tease, because it's not exposing everything. In fact, that if it's just blatantly exposing everything, like a bikini would be that simplistic, that's sexy. But having something like a teddy or something that's more sheer or more like covering can be sexier because it's more of the tantalizing because I can't see what it is. You know, that sort of mindset thing for us men, which is good. I was going to say one of my favorite memories from a long time ago with a girlfriend I lived with. I had this fantasy idea, which she then went and did. It was a simple one about playful things. I don't think it was Valentine's Day, though. But I said one of my favorite things, so we were getting dressed up to go out for an evening. We're going to some gala or something. And she borrowed her mother's fur coat back when fur coats were safe to wear. This is going back quite a while. And I said one of my favorite fantasies is to be with my woman, who basically is wearing the fur coat with stockings and heels and nothing else.
Yeah.
Which she did the next night. Or was it that night? Next night. Anyway, let's make our night was a lot more pleasurable because it was that tantalizing, like, does she or doesn't she? That provocative feeling. So lingerie can be really that powerful a tool in relationship because it becomes provocative versus blatant.
Yes. Such a good point. And what I've also found from men is it doesn't have to be slutty. It doesn't have to be practically nothing. You really made such a good point of the peak, the little cutouts, the wondering. I mean, she shows up in this fur coat and you're like, is there any?
It worked much better than a bikini would for me in that moment.
See, and women don't know this, and it's really important for us to tell them that men like the mystery. They like the wondering. They like the peeling. They like the undressing part. And what's the surprise?
Right.
And so that's why I'm telling women that if you wear something that makes you feel comfortable, you feel sexy, you feel womanly, you feel seductive, you feel alluring, you need to feel this way. It is catchy. He will feel it. Trust me.
Absolutely.
It's like bringing out this beam to him and he'll go, whoa, yep, I'm feeling whatever that is.
Exactly.
If we feel all uncomfortable, you're going to catch that too. And you're going to think it's personal. Am I doing something wrong? What did I do that I'm making her feel so? Because my job is to make her feel safe so that she feels receptive to me emotionally and physically and mentally. And if she's uncomfortable, what am I doing wrong? And I need to do different, which makes nothing work well.
Right.
She doesn't get turned on. He doesn't get turned on. And then we're not going to have any kind of fun.
Absolutely.
So it so starts with us and our attitude and our thoughts about our body is fine. Truly, ladies, your body is fine. However it is, whatever's poking out or poking in or hanging over, he's fine with it. If he's with you and you've gone to this point of your relationship, he likes how you look. He's going to like how you look naked. And he's going to be really excited to have you finally end up naked and your body's joined. Trust me on this.
Yeah.
And if you can get your stuff to a place where you're like, I'm hot stuff, no matter how much you weigh, no matter how much you exercise or don't. If he's with you, he likes you. He thinks you look hot. So stop worrying about it.
It's so simple.
I wish it was that simple.
Well, the piece I was going to say about it also is one way you can look at lingerie. One way is being gift wrap.
Yes.
Because the truth is, ladies, that when you're wearing lingerie, you are the gift that's being wrapped in the lingerie.
Yeah, it's true.
So why not treat yourself as the gift that you really are? We should
So
say, why not respect yourself as the gift that you really are?
I want that on the same billboard, okay? Is that I
Okay.
don't leave our minds? Because when we look at ourselves that way, as truly the gift, and you're saying it as a man, you really feel that way. We
Absolutely.
are a gift that we're presenting to you, that we're allowing to you because we've deemed you worthy.
Hmm.
And how fun that you get to unwrap us. I mean, it's win-win for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, memories are flooding in.
I knew that would happen because when a woman does this is how, ladies, this is how men look. This is how they look when they think about you, even years later. How about that?
Yeah.
I know. I know. And so, how wonderful to have a man you're with look like that. So, when you as a woman have this attitude about yourself and you physically demonstrate it to the man, you're going to get this look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See? I just have to sit with that look for a minute because I want women to see the gift that they not only are themselves, but they offer to you and that they get back 3 times.
Oh, at
You
least.
give once at least, right?
Right.
How much do you want to make us happy? How much do you want to please us? Yes, in bed and out.
Hmm.
What can I do, hon, to make you happy? Because I am feeling so full up. I am feeling like I won the prize. I mean, that's really what the emotion and the energy that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, how can we ladies get ourselves to the place where we feel relaxed and receptive about our bodies? And can lingerie play a part in that? Because I think it can be a very positive part. And I have to tell you, I have never, ever in my life seen quite so many ads for very sexy lingerie on Facebook. Oh my God, you could go shopping every day for something really cool and sexy and fun. So I think women just need to start looking at what do I like? What
Yeah.
colors do I like? What fabrics do I like? How much covering do I need? What styles? And try. I mean, it's like $30 for a pair of things, 2 things,
Hmm.
really, or one thing. I mean, it's not very much money. You can even send it back and just practice. So now we're going to talk about if you're not with somebody. If
Right.
you're not with
Well, actually,
with self.
before you get to that point, so let me add a piece from the male side of things.
Oh, please.
Is that one thing we can do as well? Because you said one thing that women need to feel basically is feel safe with us.
Yeah.
And I know from experience with quite a few friends and clients where women didn't feel that in their relationships. So what we've been talking about here is predicated upon the fact that you feel safe with your guy. So if you're not feeling safe with your guy, first of all, there's a question mark of do you really want to do that with him? Because you may not feel safe in the first place. Because really, it's that safety that allows you to feel sexy. You might feel sexy in a very fearful based way, but that's not what I recommend. But you want to be with a partner who makes you feel safe. So men, our job is to create the safety. And that's the thing. That's what the true meaning providing is about. It's not just paying the bills, which it can be, but it's not about that. It's about can we create the space that makes her feel safe in it, with us and around us, so that she can relax and be her full expression. There's the whole other conversation about femininity, but that really ties into this conversation too. So, and I see
Yes.
we're getting notified. We need to.
Yes. So I'm going to finish on the note before we come back that
Yes.
when we feel relaxed and receptive, it's much more positive experience for both people for us to receive part of your body into our body.
Right there.
It takes relaxing. It takes receptive. And we will be back after this break. Well, we're back talking about Valentine's Day and chocolates and roses
Yes,
and lingerie.
indeed we are.
Yes,
So we
we
were
are.
about to jump into the single side of things, but I wanted to make sure we finish that point. So now it's a good time to shift gears.
Yes, because we talked about if you're in a relationship and then the ways that you can make it more fun and smoother and spread it out over the whole year.
Yeah.
hmm And if you don't have a Valentine's person in your life at this moment, what can you do? So buy yourself something pretty. If you're a lady, buy yourself something pretty. A new scarf, a piece of jewelry. Buy yourself flowers.
Exactly.
I
Yes.
love fresh flowers. Most of the time now, especially I don't have a cat that eats flowers anymore. I love having flowers in my house.
That's a key quality to be aware of as well, by the way. A cat that doesn't eat flowers.
Oh my God, it was awful. I had to have all my flowers up really high. And when Tony died, I had to hide them all in the bathroom every night when I went to bed because the cat would
Oh,
eat
right, right.
them. Yeah. But I love flowers. And so I buy myself flowers. And then men notice that I have flowers in my house. And I tell them I like flowers. So one time my late husband sent me 4 dozen roses.
Whoa.
I know. It was pretty incredible to get this huge box. And I will tell you, just between you and me, because it'll be our little secret.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a really hard day. I had all these events and I was working so hard and I'm thinking, oh my God, I have no time because I cut the ends off and I have to get all the vases out and I have to put them all around. I mean, it sounds, oh, poor my first world problems,
Right.
but it was a little of that. But I was like, oh my gosh, I've never had somebody send me 4 dozen flowers before. So I sent him lots of appreciation and sucked it up, Buttercup, and put all those flowers around my house because I didn't have a cat that ate flowers then. And it was glorious to have my house filled with flowers because he really paid attention that I liked them.
Yeah.
And when I don't have a man in my life, I still buy myself flowers. I mean, the grocery store, they're really inexpensive. Trader Joe's, they're pretty inexpensive. Yeah. So buy yourself something, certainly for Valentine's Day, so you don't feel so lonely. Because then they're like, oh, but I had to buy it myself. You still have flowers. Make yourself smile every time you look at them. And if this is a perfect time to experiment with lingerie, if you've never had lingerie before and it hasn't been your thing and you're uncomfortable thinking about somebody seeing you in it, try it. I have a client the other day. She's so funny. I got her to order couple of things, really easy things for her. And so the next time we talk, she says, so I put it on just me and my cat. And I looked in the mirror and she went, oh, pretty terrific. She had no idea. She'd never done that before.
Whoa.
No, isn't that a fun story?
I love that.
So now she's warmed up a little that when there is a man in her life that she'll want to maybe do that with, she's already got it in her head.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing. So do it
it.
on your own. I know. I knew you'd like that story.
Yeah. And for us men, I mean, not that we want to buy ourselves lingerie necessarily. Some men might, but I'm not saying you have to do that. But it's okay for us to buy ourselves. This is the weird one. It's okay for us to buy ourselves flowers too. You know, men can enjoy having roses if you're not, if you want around the house. Now, I'm not saying most men are good at taking care of flowers, but at least we can have them in the house for a minute or two.
Yeah.
But I do have a sweet tooth, so I like dark chocolate. So for books of chocolates, I kind of enjoy that, or a bottle of wine, or order a nice dinner. I mean, I know one of the big homework assignments I've given clients before for women, but it's for men too, is take yourself out to dinner when restaurants are open again, of course, and actually have dinner on your own outside. It's like you may get funny looks from people, but it's not about them. It's like you're taking care of yourself, especially if you're always, and especially right now, because a lot of people are home, if you don't go out to eat or you don't order food in because you're always cooking for yourself, take the day to treat yourself to a meal made by somebody else. Maybe you have it delivered, or maybe you go to a place that is open for outdoor dining, as we are right now, or if it's a restaurant that you sit inside, depending which state you live in. Treat yourself to a nice experience, guy or girl. You can do that on your own. This is the thing. We have rules that have been societally imprinted upon us that you can only do this when you're a couple.
Yeah.
But it's not a rule. That's a made-up thing that people assume. There's never said. There's nothing documented in the guidelines of society saying you can only go on dates with somebody else. You can't go down on your own. So why not take yourself out for a date with nice wine, nice meal, and in fact treat yourself nice. If you're going out for wine, treat yourself to an Uber each way, so you don't have to worry about driving. Literally, make it a date enjoyable. Totally.
And if you're going to order in, you're not comfortable eating out, set the table.
Yes.
Light candles. Wouldn't you be doing that if somebody else was there? Why do it just for them?
Right.
Do it
Oh,
for yourself.
and real glassware and real
Yes.
real cloth napkins.
Real
Raise the
china,
bar.
placemats. Yes. I mean, it's so few dishes to wash. And it just gives you a sense of feeling important. And dress up a little.
Why not?
Put on perfume. Whatever you would do if there was another person there, if you were having a Valentine with a date, what would you do? Do that. I mean, don't you deserve that as much as the other person would? And it's good practice, if just for that reason. Because I've never had anybody tell me that they felt badly after doing it. They felt a little sad or a little lonely that they were, and ultimately dressing up just makes you feel better.
Absolutely.
Treating yourself to a lovely, visually pretty place to eat, plus
And
yummy food, wouldn't you
yeah,
feel
absolutely.
good?
And if you want to set the energy in place because you're looking to attract a relationship, for ladies especially, but for men can do this too, is to have a second place setting with a glass and a plate and knives and forks. I wouldn't put the food on two plates. That's getting pushing a bit too far. But if you're having dinner, at least have a setup across from you on the table, because it starts to set an energetic energy in motion, because you're starting to create a vacuum. Excuse me, you started to set a motion which is going to be like a vacuum to attract in that partner who would sit at that spot later on.
Yes. Oh, I've never thought of that and never suggested that. I am going to remember that. That's such a good idea. Because I do say, clean out a drawer and clean out part of your closet.
Right.
You can't wait till there's a person in your life. It's important to do it ahead of time. You need to create space for them ahead of time. I never thought about setting another place. I like that idea a lot.
There you
Very
go.
much. Yes. And what I've seen other people do is, if you know other singles that are not having a date on Valentine's Day, get on a Zoom call and eat dinner together. Have a glass of wine together. Not to commiserate, boo-hoo, I'm alone, but to say, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? What would you like in your next relationship? Focus on having love in your life, period, and having a lover in your life. Talk more about they're here than they're not here. Because doesn't that create the atmosphere? Your mind goes, oh, really? Oh, you want somebody here? Oh, I saw that ad for Facebook dating. Maybe I really will try that. Or, that guy's been writing to me on Facebook for a while, or that gal has been liking my posts, and I haven't been really paying attention. Maybe I'll write back to them. It gets your wheels moving forward rather than being stuck in the past of there's nobody ever, never, ever going to happen.
So to say that another way, because this is what I do work with affirmations with my clients, is that affirmations need basically three things. They're first person, so I am. They're present tense, so they're affirming what is now. And they're declaring a positive direction of where you want to go. So the affirmation is on the lines of, I am enjoying a new relationship that I've been grateful for every single day. So if you're going to be out on a date with a platonic friend to celebrate Valentine's Day as you're both single, which you can do, why not speak in those terms? So what you said is exactly the same thing, is to say these things, be present to it by affirming what you are currently experiencing as a fact, even though it isn't necessarily right there at that moment.
Right.
So yeah, that's
the magic thing. You and I know, it's the truth, that even if you don't believe it, if you say it, your mind believes it. It just does. It has no filtering. It's believing all the crap you're feeding it.
The mind cannot.
Good stuff.
The mind cannot differentiate between reality and a well-crafted fantasy, because it still goes in. So yes, why not set up the way you want it to be, and allow the reality to start matching what you believe?
It is the most positive definition of fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
To tell your mind what you would like to have now.
Yeah.
I'd like this now. I'm ready for this now. Give me the next step now. Now. Not next week, not next year, not next Valentine's Day, now.
Right. And
so to come up with some affirmations on Valentine's Day might be a really good assignment we could leave with people, right?
I recommend that one as a good homework assignment. And the key thing also is you affirm that in the moment, each moment. So you don't go, it didn't happen yet. What's wrong? That's the other thing. That's the other thing we do. We declare this is what's happening right now, but then 2 hours later we're going, it didn't happen. Now what? It's like, no, keep in the present moment affirming, because you're creating the attraction and that vibrational energy that brings in what you're affirming.
It's so true.
Be present and be present and be present. Don't go be present and go, it didn't happen.
Well, and what it's doing too, smart, is it's keeping you in the positive thoughts, the positive vein, the positive, it really can happen. It really will happen. Because I've not met too many people that if they really think hard about it, is there something you really wanted that you thought about a lot, that how much you really wanted it? And yes, you end up taking some proactive mode. I really wanted to be a waitress at this restaurant, at Coco's restaurant in my neighborhood when I was in high school. I focused on it. I called the manager, just reminding you I'm here every week. He said when the opening came, he couldn't think of anybody else's name but mine.
Exactly.
And I really liked working there. It was a great place to work in high school because all my friends would come in and give me good tips. And so there's a way that you can say, I'm in a happy, healthy relationship right now. Yeah. And I'm really doing everything I can. What other things do I need to do? And pay attention to that.
Yes, the thing is, whereas the thing is, when you start to affirm what you want to manifest, attract, create, embrace, the things that don't fit that will tend to show up to be noticed. Not to say you can't have it, but it's more like going, okay, if that's what you want, this needs to be cleaned up here. This needs to be cleaned up here. So you may get the inclination or the intuition or the invitation to like clean out part of your closet, as you were saying, or maybe to get some stuff, make room for a relationship, or it might be just to change some of your habits. So you clean up your house so you have room for somebody to come in that'll like where you live.
Yes.
A whole array of things.
Or, I've never walked that way before. I don't know why, but I'm going to walk that way now. I had a girlfriend that went that way. She went running. All of a sudden, she, smiles at everybody that goes by way before COVID. And all of a sudden, this guy turned around and started running with her. And she'd never run in that area before. And he'd never run in that area before either. And poof, they've now been married for, 32 years or something. Isn't that amazing?
That is wonderful.
So you become more open and available and clear for those intuition things that'll pop up.
Right.
That say, oh, you want that? Go do this. Oh, you want that? Take this class. Whether you're going to meet somebody or you're just going to clean out some clutter because you're now taking a class or talking to a coach or doing something that helps you get rid of those blocks. Because if it's not happening, might be a block.
Quite possibly.
Since we live with that every day, people end their blocks.
Yes, it's our work. Yeah. But the thing also is, people say, well, why should I do that? It's like, well, first of all, if you want this experience, why not put the energy into creating it? Because frankly, it's going to be worth having. But the second part is, if it doesn't show up in that moment, the work you're doing to clean out the space for it is going to benefit you anyway. You got my room in your closet now. You can breathe. Oh, great! Your house is cleaner than it was before, or you got the car cleaned, or you're doing more exercise than you were doing before. Whatever it was, your life is getting better, whether or not that person shows up now or later.
And doesn't that make you a happier person?
Which makes you more attractive. Ta-da!
There you go. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
The other thing I hear frequently, and I'm sure you do too, is I'm too old. Too old. Too old to celebrate Valentine's Day. Too old for lingerie. Too old to go look for somebody. Nobody's going to want me because I'm too old. So I've had the best time telling people stories about my 85-year-old, because I really had 70s. I had two people that met in there. That she was my client, and she was active, did so much every day, ran on the treadmill, went to the gym. And she's like, how am I going to ever meet me? I said, we just get you clear. You keep asking. We write it in your profile. She's now been with him, Mark, it's been 3 years. He plays softball 3 days a week. He's 2 years older than her. They're both in their 70s. They're the perfect activity level. Well, my 85-year-old, she'd been widowed twice, and she said, I still have love to give, and I don't want to be alone. I really want to find somebody. But do you think I'm too old? I said, I don't think so. And you need to not think so. Right. She just got married for the third time.
Love it.
Is that the best story?
That's great.
So no, you're not too old. And what's really helpful is if we can convince you that you don't think you're too old. Because you need to be convinced first. And then the right people are going to show up.
Right. I mean, thankfully, most of my clients are slightly younger than that. Yeah. But still, even some of my clients who are in their 50s have sort of thought they're going to give up now because like this past the point because they can't. Well, one of the ones that comes up for a lot of women is, well, I can't have kids now. I'm like, well, if that's your choice for marriage, then maybe you want a relationship without kids, or you want to be with somebody who's already got kids. Yeah. I mean, I've personally been in a relationship with women who have had kids, and I'm fine with that. And not having kids of my own has been okay because I don't have this. I don't have a biological need because being a guy is not part of my makeup. But also, being a parent is something I'd love to do, but I'm not attached to have to do. And so for women, that's true too. I know women who don't want kids and they're fine without it, and some women want kids. But some women have got this attachment that's because they're past the point chronologically or biologically where having kids is going to work for them, that they feel like they can't have a relationship anymore because they're tied them so much together.
Yeah.
So my teaching is like, no, you can have a healthy relationship. First of all, you can be with somebody who already has kids. If kids is on your focus and you're not able to have them physically, and there's always this thing called adoption or fostering. So that need to be the make or break about having a relationship. So focus on what you want to have as a relationship, and then of course with your two people, you can discuss what you want to create together.
Yeah, because when I married my husband, I have stepkids that are 20 years apart. My stepdaughter just turned 30. It's shocking since I met her when she was 15. And then my stepson had been married already and had one child and then had a second. So I got to be a grandmother too. It was like this whole wonderful package. So if you know what you would like, then you seek a relationship that has that. I've now decided I would be happy not to have a child living with us. I've done that now, and I would like to not do that again. It was hard.
So no child's living with us and no cats that eat flowers. Okay, just making sure you check that.
I know my profile's very interesting. Yes, a cat that eats flowers.
Right.
So when we talked in the very beginning about doing something every day, so if you're alone and you think, okay, I'm gonna take Barry and Christine's advice and I'm gonna do something special on Valentine's Day. I'm gonna order in food, or I'm gonna go out with somebody, a platonic friend, male or female, to go out to dinner, or I'm gonna buy myself flowers, or I'm gonna try out lingerie. Then keep doing it. Make dates with yourself. Don't just do it on Valentine's Day, as in the beginning. The nicer you treat yourself, the happier you're going to be. Raise the bar for how the other person's going to treat you when you get in a relationship with them, both men and women. The better care you take of yourself, the less chance you have of settling for somebody that's not very nice or doesn't have the same standards of whatever it is you have for your treatment.
Yeah.
And you'll send away anybody that isn't the right person. Because if you're not clear about what's important to you, or you don't treat yourself well, sadly, you're going to attract people that are going to treat you the same way.
Exactly. And I've said that I did a Facebook Live I reposted today about this, which was about how you inherit your relationship patterns from your parents.
Yeah.
So changing that cycle, which is what you and I both do, is helping. I mean, this is off topic slightly from what we're talking about today, but the truth is that when we, as adults, start to choose our relationships from ourselves versus what we were raised with, it's a whole different experience. So that's one of the things. And I'm on a sidebar, something because you said about being afraid about like going out stuff. Going out on Valentine's Day, I'm going to throw down the challenge to people watching this. If you're single on Valentine's Day, your challenge is to start the process, if you're not already doing it, of taking yourself out for romantic, enjoyable dinners, either romantically on your own or platonically with friends, where you start to affirm the feeling of being with somebody and enjoying a nice dinner. Because for some people, if they're not in a relationship, they don't even go out with their friends for one-on-one dinner date, so to speak.
Yeah.
So why not make that your challenge to actually start doing that with Valentine's Day as the first time, and then continue maybe once a month, once a week, wherever you want to do that financially and obviously safety-wise with what's going on right now, and be in a place where you're more entertaining yourself, because then you're having this history of being out to dinner, enjoying yourself.
So smart. And you'll get more comfortable and you'll want to do it more because it's fun.
Exactly.
That's how everything fun is. You're like, well, that was fun. I want to do that again.
Yep. I did that parachuting, but I didn't keep doing it. Long time ago.
I've never done it. I'm going to be the chaser on the ground always. I can't. Maybe someday, maybe when I'm 85, I'll jump out of a plane. I'm not even the most calm flyer. I can't even imagine jumping out.
Yeah, jumping a perfectly good airplane. What a concept.
I know, but I never even did that. That's very impressive. Another facet to you. So Valentine's Day can turn into something that's lovely and looked forward to, and a celebration of you being alive and writing yourself a love note, writing somebody you care about, a family member, a grandchild, a niece or nephew, write them a love note, write them something that expresses your feelings, because it's another way of getting in the habit of thinking loving thoughts and expressing your loving thoughts and opening your heart in this very safe way, because it's somebody you already know you love and they love you back.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I could do that with an adult person someday. Because if we keep saving up and waiting for the person and the moment, it's really hard if you haven't practiced something. Really, if you haven't put yourself out there to even express it a little bit, it can feel so terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Is it time?
Oh, start. We don't have to stop, but just think about closing. Oh, that's easy.
Okay, good. Okay, so so to summarize in a lot of ways, that there's so much that you can do with Valentine's Day, whether you're single or in a relationship. Yeah. And we did cover the chocolates, roses, and lingerie. So we covered all the topics in the title, so we're good on that. And some strong suggestions.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, I think for me with Valentine's Day, is that it's such a, well, as I said at the beginning, Valentine's Day is a very commercial, industry-based thing. Yeah. So if you are not feeling that Valentine's Day is the day you want to go celebrate, it's okay. Just don't judge it as being bad. It's just what it is.
Yes.
But if you take what we suggested as guidance, if you are in a relationship, what to do on it, or if you're single, what to do with it, and basically, as we said, have fun with it.
Yes.
Then Valentine's Day can be a fun place to play. So I highly recommend you take the time on Valentine's Day after watching this video to go out and do something fun, playful, enjoyable, even if it's getting something in your own home.
Yes.
Do one thing on Valentine's Day that lifts you up and makes you feel more romantic. That's your homework.
Perfect. I love that wrap up. One thing. Anybody can do one thing.
Yeah.
So if you'd like more suggestions, or you want to tell us what you did on Valentine's Day to celebrate yourself, or you want to go, how is it I'm supposed to get a Valentine sometime between now and next Valentine's Day, then you can get a hold of either one of us. And the way to get a hold of me is, my website is www.theperfectcatch.com. And if you click on what's holding you back from love at the top, we can have a complimentary conversation about this or anything else that's on your mind about dating and relationships and what's not working for you. You can also send me an email at christine@theperfectcatch.com. You can reach me on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram. I think I remembered them all this time. Yay. And Barry, tell people how they can get a hold of you.
Certainly. So thankfully, I made things easier for people to find me because my name is on my website. So barryselby.com is my website. I did mention earlier on about, I have this ebook called Adventures in Romance. It's a freebie I gave out. It's actually, I linked to it in my own book, which is called 50 Ways to Love Your Lover, by the way. If you go to my site and click on the contact form, you can actually send a little note through the contact form asking for that Adventures in Romance ebook, and I'll send it to you as a gift. So you can do that if you want. So again, on my site, barryselby.com. If you want to talk about what's working for you and what's not working for you, if this has brought up some stuff for you, reach out and set up a call with me. On my website, it says Let's Chat. It's the first button on the navigation. Sign up there for a discovery consult with me as a gift, and we see where you want to go. Social media, my YouTube channel is my most prolific place I am right now. You can go to youtube.com/Barry Selby, and you can watch, well, I wouldn't do it all at once. I've got over 1,000 videos on there now from my own Facebook Lives I recorded and saved there. But also, you can find me on Facebook at barryselby.author. Instagram is the real Barry Selby. Things got changed because of people stealing my, anyway, not going to go there. But on Pinterest, Twitter, et cetera, it's all Barry Selby. So I look forward to seeing you. Reach out to me if you want some help. Reach out to us if you want some help. And that's about it. I think next week we'll be on to some new topics after Valentine's Day. Oh, and we wish you a wonderful Valentine's Day, by the way, between now and then.
So this is my Valentine Day at the moment. Mr. Sammy always has to come up and be part of the video.
Yes, he does.
So thank you for always scintillating fun. Makes me laugh every time, Barry.
Likewise.
With you. So we'll see you next week, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern on Thursday.
See you then.
Bye for now.